My sister mocked my pathetic job for years. At her wedding, she discovered I secretly owned her company. Surprise, I'm your new boss. The look on her face. Olivia's getting married. My mother's voice bubbled through the phone, dripping with the kind of enthusiasm she never wasted on me. She's marrying the CEO of Market Force Solutions. Can you believe it? My daughter, marrying a CEO. I glanced at my computer screen at the acquisition papers I'd been reviewing before her call. Market Force Solutions, a mid-sized marketing firm that had been hemorrhaging money for the past year. Their CEO, James Warner, had been desperately seeking investors. That's wonderful, I said, keeping my voice neutral. If only they knew. The wedding will be at the Plaza Hotel, my mother continued. Though, of course, we don't expect you to contribute to the costs. We know how tight money must be with your situation. My situation, that's what they called my choice to work at a small consulting firm instead of accepting the corporate job they'd lined up for me. Never mind that I built that small firm from nothing, carefully hiding my ownership behind layers of corporate structuring. I can manage, Mom. Oh, Sarah. Her sigh was heavy with disappointment. When are you going to get serious about your career? Look at Olivia, youngest senior VP at Anderson Corp, and now marrying a CEO, and you're still stuck in that dead-end job. I looked around my home office at the view of Central Park from my penthouse window and smiled slightly. Dead end indeed. The day of Olivia's engagement party arrived with all the subtlety of a Broadway production. The Morgan Hotel's ballroom sparkled with crystal chandeliers and champagne flutes, each table setting probably worth more than what my family thought I made in a month. Sarah, Olivia's voice cut through the crowd. My sister approached in a designer dress that screamed new money, her diamond engagement ring catching the light. I didn't think you'd come. Couldn't afford a new dress? I glanced down at my simple black dress, a custom piece that cost more than her ring. It's what I had. Well, she patted my arm condescendingly. At least you made an effort. Oh, let me introduce you to James. James Warner appeared at her side. His confident smile, not quite hiding the worry lines around his eyes. I knew those worry lines intimately. I've been watching his company's financial reports for months, Sarah, right? He extended his hand. Olivia's sister. The one who works at what was it, honey? Some little consulting firm? Olivia waved dismissively. Nothing like Market Force. Speaking of which, James was just telling me about this amazing expansion plan. I took a sip of champagne, hiding my smile. There would be no expansion, not under his leadership anyway. Sarah couldn't understand any of that business talk. Olivia continued. She's more of a small picture person. If she only knew that while she was planning her fairy tale wedding, I was planning the acquisition of her fiancé's company. Phoenix Consulting Group, my company, had been watching Market Force Solutions for months. Their outdated methods and bloated management structure made them right for takeover. Actually, I said carefully, I'd love to hear about these expansion plans. James launched into his rehearsed speech about market penetration and synergistic opportunities. I nodded along, noting how he carefully avoided mentioning the company's plummeting stock price or the 3 failed product launches this year. Fascinating, I murmured, catching our mother's proud gaze fix on Olivia. Isn't it? Olivia beamed. I'll be joining the board after the wedding. James says I have natural leadership abilities. Of course, he did. He needed her family's connections, our family's connections. Though he didn't realize those connections now largely flow through me, not her. The party continued a parade of designer labels and practice laughs. Every few minutes, someone would congratulate Olivia on her brilliant match while casting pitying glances my way. It's not too late. My father cornered me by the bar. I could still make some calls, get you a proper position somewhere. I smiled, remembering the stack of resumes on my desk, VPs and directors from top firms begging to work for Phoenix Consulting. I'm happy where I am, Dad. He shook his head. You could have been like Olivia. Instead, you're wasting your potential at some tiny firm that nobody's heard of. Nobody's heard of? I nearly laughed. Phoenix Consulting Group was the silent giant of the industry, working behind the scenes to reshape companies like Market Force. We just prefer to stay out of the spotlight. As I left the party that night, Olivia caught my arm. Sarah, I've been thinking. After the wedding, maybe I could help you find a real job. Something at Market Force, perhaps? Entry level, of course. I looked at my sister, really looked at her. The designer dress, the perfect makeup, the practiced smile. She had everything she thought she wanted. She had no idea that in less than a month at her own wedding, her perfectly planned world would shatter. Thanks, Olivia, I said softly, but I think I'll stick with what I have. Driving home in my sensible car, a carefully chosen prop to maintain my cover. I couldn't help but smile. Let them think I was stuck in a dead-end job. Let them pity the sister who couldn't make it. In my office, I opened my laptop and sent a simple email to my board. Proceed with the Market Force acquisition. Timeline, 3 weeks. Target, wedding day. Sometimes the best revenge isn't proving people wrong. It's letting them believe they're right until the perfect moment to show them just how wrong they've been. And Olivia's wedding would be that perfect moment. I picked up my phone and texted my assistant. Send me everything we have on James Warner's recent meetings, and make sure our lawyers are ready. The pieces were in place. Now all I had to do was wait for the big day, my sister's dream wedding, where she discovered that her unsuccessful sister was about to become her boss. The irony was almost poetic. The Pazza Hotel ballroom looked like a scene from a fairy tale. White roses cascaded from crystal vases, champagne flowed endlessly, and my sister, radiant in her designer wedding gown, basked in the attention of 500 guests. I sat quietly at my assigned table, far from the main party, of course, watching the celebration unfold. My phone buzzed silently. The final confirmation from my lawyers, the Market Force acquisition was complete. All that remained was the announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, James stood tapping his champagne glass. I'd like to propose a toast to my beautiful bride who from today will not only be my wife, but also a key part of Market Force's future. The crowd applauded. Olivia beamed. In fact, James continued, I have an announcement to make. As of Monday, Olivia will be joining Market Force as our new Chief Marketing Officer. More applause. My mother wiped away tears of joy. My father puffed up with pride. I checked my watch 3 minutes until the markets closed, 3 minutes until everything changed. Olivia stood now, her wedding dress shimmering. Thank you all. I'm so excited to begin this new chapter, and I promise, under our leadership, Market Force will reach heights never before imagined. I almost felt sorry for her, almost. My phone buzzed again. The market had closed. The news would break any second. As if on cue, James's phone rang. He frowned, stepped away from the table. I watched his face change as he listened. Confusion, shock, disbelief. He ended the call, hands shaking. James. Olivia touched his arm. What's wrong? His voice cracked. Market Force. We've been acquired. Phoenix Consulting Group. They bought controlling interest, but that's impossible. The deal wasn't of what it was, I said, Sandy. The room fell silent as I walked toward their table. The paperwork was finalized 20 minutes ago. James stared at me. How do you know? I smiled, pulling a business card from my clutch. Not the simple one I usually carried, but my real card. The one that read, Sarah Mitchell, CEO and founder, Phoenix Consulting Group, NUM. Olivia whispered, her perfect makeup cracking as her eyes widened. This is a joke. You work at some tiny consulting firm. You're nothing. That tiny consulting firm? I kept my voice level. It was Phoenix. I built it from nothing while you were busy mocking my career choices. And now, well, I turned to James. I believe you'll find your resignation letter in your email. The board has already accepted it. The ballroom erupted in whispers. My mother dropped her champagne glass. My father stood frozen, his face ashen. You can't do this, Olivia shrieked. This is my wedding. My moment? Actually, I can. And that CML position you were so excited about. The board has some concerns about nepotism. We'll be going in a different direction. James slumped in his chair. All pretense of power gone. The expansion plans, the strategies I told you about at the engagement party were exactly what convinced me Market Force needed new management. I sipped my champagne, though I did appreciate the preview. Olivia grabbed my arm, her pristine bridal manicure digging into my skin. Why would you do this? I gently removed her hand. Remember last Christmas when you told everyone not to expect much from my pathetic little job gift-wise? Well, consider this my wedding present, a lesson in humility. Sarah, my father finally found his voice. All this time, you were building an empire? I finished for him, yes. While you were lamenting my wasted potential, I was transforming Phoenix into one of the most powerful consulting firms in the country, $40 million in revenue last year alone. My mother swayed slightly, but your apartment, your clothes were choices. I didn't need to show off my success. I just needed to work quietly until the right moment. I straightened my simple dress, and what better moment than my dear sister's wedding? The ballroom had descended into chaos. Guests were frantically Googling Phoenix Consulting Group, discovering just who I really was. Olivia's perfect day had become a spectacle of a different kind. Security. Olivia screamed. Get her out. I laughed softly. The Plaza Hotel. I own it. Bought it last month, actually, just for today. I turned to the gathered guests. Please enjoy the celebration. The champagne is excellent. I selected it myself. As I walked toward the exit, I heard my mother calling my name. I didn't turn around. 10 years of dismissal and mockery had ended in a single moment of perfect justice. Outside, my driver held the door to my Bentley. No more sensible car needed. Where to, Miss Mitchell? The office, I said. We have a company to restructure. My phone buzzed with messages, family members suddenly remembering my existence, business reporters seeking comments, Olivia's increasingly hysterical texts. I turned it off. Let them talk. Let them scramble to understand how the sister they dismissed had become the most powerful person in the room. Let them realize that every time they'd mocked my dead-end job, they'd been digging their own professional graves. Monday morning, I sat in my corner office watching MarketForce employees file into their building across the street. They didn't know it yet, but half of senior management would be gone by lunch. My assistant entered. Your sister and parents are in the lobby. Again, they've been there since 7. Tell them the CEO is in meetings all day. I turned back to my window. In Madison, send them the new organizational chart. The one showing their daughter's position being eliminated. That's cold. She smiled. No. I corrected her. That's business. I picked up a framed photo from my desk. The last family Christmas where they'd all laughed at my modest lifestyle. I dropped it in the trash. Sometimes success isn't about proving people wrong. It's about waiting for the perfect moment to show them just how right you've become. And as MarketForce's stock price soared under Phoenix's management, as my sister's carefully planned future crumbled, as my parents finally realized what they dismissed all these years, I knew one thing for certain. The dead-end job they'd mocked had become their dead end instead. And I had become exactly what they never thought I could be, their boss.